Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Attorney Ebony Anuforo. I'm an immigration attorney and I am located in Jersey City, New Jersey. However, I represent clients in all 50 states and around the world regarding U.S. immigration. And today I have a very interesting topic for us to talk about. So welcome. So if you are an entrepreneur or an investor, and you're looking for a way to live and work in the United States, the E-2 treaty investor visa might be an opportunity that you're looking for. So today, during our chat, I'm going to break down exactly what the E-2 visa is, who qualifies for the E-2 visa, how much you need to invest, and the benefits and the challenges of this visa option. So stay tuned. Okay, so what is the E-2 visa? So the E-2 visa is a non-immigrant visa that allows nationals of treaty countries to enter and work in the United States based on a substantial investment they make in a U.S. business. Okay, so this means that if you're willing to invest your own money into starting or purchasing a business in the U.S., then you can come here legally and develop and direct that business. So I also want to talk about who is eligible, because you hear me talking about a treaty country. Now, to qualify for the E-2 visa, you must meet several key requirements. Number one, you must be a citizen of a treaty country that has a treaty of commerce and navigation with the U.S., right? So if you're not sure if your country qualifies, we can help you go through that check to see if you come from a treaty country, or you can just do a Google search and research online, the State Department's website, and see and find the list of treaty countries to see if your country is on that list. You must also make a substantial investment in a bona fide U.S. business. So your investment must be significant enough to ensure that there will be success in your business. You must also own at least 50% of the business or have operational control, right? So that means you can't just be a passive investor. You need to be actively, directly involved in the development of the business, right? So if the business itself must also be a real business, a business that's actually operating, not just a paper company or a side hustle or something that's a speculative investment. This actually has to be a business that is in operation. And then finally, the investment must be at risk, meaning that you have committed your funds and or your assets, and there's a chance that you might lose money or your assets if the business fails, right? So you have to have skin in the game ultimately in order to qualify as submitting a substantial investment that you put at risk towards this business. So now you may be asking, how much do I need to invest to qualify, right? That's probably their next question. Well, there is no fixed minimum set by the law on how much you need to invest for the E-2 visa. However, based on experience and government guidance, generally an investment of at least $100,000 or more tends to be viewed more favorable. However, for smaller businesses, investments can be lower. But you must still invest a significant proportion of the total value of the business. So there are times where an E-2 visa can be approved for less than $100,000, for even $50,000 at that, but it's really going to depend on the type of business that you're starting. Maybe this particular business requires less startup funds in order to start the business. It's really depends on the business, and it depends on how you prepare your package to show that the amount that you invested is actually substantial for this business. If you're buying an existing business, your investment should usually be at least 50% or more of your purchase price. One of the things that I want you to think about is that the government looks at proportionality. So the more expensive the business, the lower percentage you might need to invest. So the cheaper the business, the higher percentage that you're going to have to show. And importantly, your funds must be committed before you apply. So that means that you should already have signed contracts, leases, purchased equipment for the business, or otherwise clearly shown that your money is truly at risk for this business. Again, I mentioned earlier, it cannot be speculative. You have to actually show that you have invested in this business of which you are now applying for the E-2 visa, investment visa category. Now, one of the questions that I get a lot when it comes to the E-2 visa is, can my family come with me? Can they also live in the United States? And the answer is yes. That's one of the great benefits of the E-2 visa, is that your family can come and join you. Your spouse and your unmarried children who are under 21 can also apply for an E-2 dependent visa. Your spouse is eligible to apply for work authorization and can work for an employer or even start their own business. And your children can attend school or university here in the United States. So it's a wonderful opportunity to build a life here while you're running your business, and you get to have your family alongside with you. So how long can you stay? That's another question that a lot of people want to know, is how long can I stay on this visa? With visas, we typically know that they have a maximum amount of time that you could be under the visa, but the E-2 visa is a very special visa, right? So the E-2 visa, they're typically granted for 2 years at a time, yes. So there is a time limit on the visa, but here's the good news. There's no maximum limit on how many times you can renew the E-2 visa, as long as you continue to meet all of the requirements. In fact, there are many people who have successfully lived and worked in the United States for many years through consecutive E-2 visa extensions. So that's one of the blessings of having been approved for an E-2 visa, is that you can continue to renew it indefinitely so long as you continue to meet the requirements of the visa. So while I love the E-2 visa, I think it's a great visa opportunity for those who come from treaty countries. I do want to talk about some of the advantages and limitations that do come with this visa. So I want to quickly cover some of the pros and cons of the E-2 visa. So let's start with the good news, right? So some of the advantages of the E-2 visa is that there's no annual cap or visa lottery, right? So there's no set amount where the government can only approve this number of visas per year. You can renew indefinitely, like I said earlier, so that allows you to work and live in the US for many, many years, as long as you continue to meet the requirements. There's flexibility in the type of business that you choose to operate, so they're not limiting you to working in a tech business, right? You can work in many different types of businesses under the E-2 visa. You have the ability to bring your spouse and your children, right? So that's a great opportunity for people who have families and don't want to have to leave their family back home. And your spouse can work legally, right? That's also great news, right? Because for many people, it's important for their spouses to be able to earn money and earn a living as well, especially if they are professional or they want to start a business of their own. Now, some of the limitations with the E-2 visa is that it's only available for citizens of treaty countries. So unfortunately, at this time, it's not open to every country in the world. It's only going to be for those countries who are considered treaty countries. There's no direct path to a green card. So although there are other options that are similar, like the EB-5, that allows you to get a green card, with the E-2 visa, there's no direct path. And you must be actively involved in the business. So if you're looking for a visa that allows you to just be a passive investor and you don't really want to be hands-on with the business, then the E-2 might not be the right fit for you. And then your investment must be at risk. So passive investments like stocks or real estate alone is not going to qualify under the E-2 visa. But all in all, I think it's a really great opportunity for a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners who are from these treaty countries to have the opportunity to come to the US and start and run a business. It's a great visa option for those individuals. So the E-2 visa process involves careful planning, documentation, and strategy. Strategy is very important, especially when you're picking the type of business that you want to invest in. So at our law firm, the Honor for Law Firm, we work closely with entrepreneurs and investors to evaluate whether you meet the E-2 eligibility. We structure and document your investment properly. We prepare a comprehensive E-2 visa application package for you, and we guide you through the consular interview process. Or if you're already in the US and you want to change your status, we guide you through that process as well. So we understand that you're not just making a business investment, you're making a life investment, and we're committed to helping you every step of the way. So if you're ready to explore the E-2 visa or want to learn more about your options, you can call us. You can also WhatsApp us at our phone number 201-565-0099 to schedule a consultation. We proudly serve immigrants in all 50 states and around the world when it comes to their immigration law matters. Again, I want to thank you so much for watching, and remember that immigration law can be very complex. Always get personalized legal advice before making major decisions with regards to your future. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.